What is going on? What is poppin' YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. I appreciate you guys for watching this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right about now, as it does help these videos get to the public and the channel to grow overall. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you do not miss a single one of those videos that I post. It is only right, you guys. Aaron Rodgers' legacy could be on the line in these playoffs, and I believe Aaron Rodgers has to ball out in these playoffs in order for his legacy to stay upright. And I believe Aaron Rodgers, as time goes on, he's got to win another Super Bowl. I believe there is major pressure on Aaron Rodgers to perform at an elite level in these NFL playoffs, and especially in his game versus the Seattle Seahawks in a couple of days. You know, before I get into this video, let me say this right now. I think Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great. If he retired today, he's probably a top 7 quarterback of all time. He's definitely in the top 10. Aaron Rodgers is an all-timer, 2-time league MVP. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's the all-time, leader as far as pass rating goes. He's the best touchdown to interception ratio leader of all time. Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great, and to me, he's the most talented thrower of the football in NFL history. He's the most talented quarterback of all time. He's the guy that can make all the throws that just not everyone can make. There's just certain throws that Aaron Rodgers has made in his career that if you give a quarterback 5 attempts to make, they can't do it. Aaron Rodgers is great, and at his peak, I believe he was arguably the best quarterback of all time. Him and Peyton Manning's peak are the 2 best peaks of all time, meaning in their prime, when they were at their best, they were the guys that played at the highest level, had the biggest influence on the outcome of if their team won or lost. They were the 2 most valuable quarterbacks of all time because when they did not play, their teams were trash. They carried franchises, and I believe they are the 2 guys that mastered the position at the highest level in their prime. And Peyton Manning, he kind of tailed off in the playoffs until he got that second Super Bowl and went to multiple Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs usually stays normal. So at Aaron Rodgers' peak, I think he's the best all time. However, Aaron Rodgers' legacy is on the line in these playoffs. Bottom line, I don't care what anyone says, and it doesn't matter about my opinion. And I'm one of the guys that picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago. Once the playoffs started, I said the Packers, not the Saints, not the 49ers, they're my pick as of right now to go all the way and win the whole thing. So that's how I feel about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. But guys, bottom line, Aaron Rodgers has got to step up and he's got to get another ring to fully validate his career. I felt a couple weeks ago that Drew Brees had some pressure hanging to the playoffs, and I think the Saints window is closed. But Drew Brees, you can say what you want. He doesn't have a second Super Bowl. We know that. But Drew Brees is going to retire as the all-time leader in pretty much almost every statistical category that matters. Passing yards, passing touchdowns, completion percentage. Drew Brees is the all-time leader in several of those categories. Aaron Rodgers is not going to get there because he's 36 years old, okay? That's just the reality, Drew Brees has the records when it all comes down to things. And a lot of people have Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers on the all-time list. So while Drew Brees does not have a second Super Bowl, his place in history is pretty much stamped. Everyone's kind of in the middle with Aaron Rodgers, Just from this standpoint, we have to look at Aaron Rodgers and say, okay, last year, the defense was bad. The offensive line was bad. The running game was bad. All 3 of those areas have been improved from a year ago. And Mike McCarthy, a lot of people thought that Mike McCarthy was the reason the Packers were not winning, including myself. I believe the Packers need to make a head coaching change. And guess what? All 4 of those things happened. They brought in a new head coach, and the team is better. They signed free agents on defense and drafted well. The team is better. The running game, they committed to Aaron Jones and the run game. They're better. The offensive line, they have more depth. It's better. Now this is on Aaron Rodgers to take the Packers to the promised land. If Aaron Rodgers, the latter part of his career, does not get the Packers another Super Bowl, that's a problem. Because we're going to look back and say, Aaron Rodgers, okay, for a while the Packers failed you, but when they actually provided you with a real team and a real coach with a real running game and a defense that is not elite, but if you're that guy, you can pull this defense over the top. It's not a terrible defense. We're going to look back and say, man, that time they tried to build around Aaron Rodgers, he failed. That's just the harsh reality of Aaron Rodgers' career and the perception that will be left upon him if he doesn't win big and get another Super Bowl. That's just the reality. And overall, as far as Aaron Rodgers' legacy goes, he's got to win another Super Bowl. Because guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, John Elway, they've won multiple Super Bowls. These are guys that Aaron Rodgers has been compared to in the past. Heck, Eli Manning and Big Ben Roethlisberger, two guys that have played in Aaron Rodgers' era, have more Super Bowls than him. Now, is Eli Manning and Big Ben Roethlisberger better than Aaron Rodgers? No, they're not. They're not better than Aaron Rodgers. If you watch the tape, if you watch the games, if you know anything about football, Aaron Rodgers is better than all those guys. And from a talent perspective, Aaron Rodgers is probably better than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and John Elway and Joe Montana. He deserves to be in that rare class with Brady, with Peyton Manning, with Elway, with Montana, just because of how he's carried the Packers throughout pretty much his entire prime. Because of how talented he is, because of the influence on the outcome of the game Aaron Rodgers has had, he deserves to be in that class. But in order to be in that class, either way you slice it, and I've said this for a while, the Packers have wasted most of Aaron Rodgers' prime. They did not surround him with a great offensive line for most of his career. They did not surround him with a great defense for most of his career. He's only had 2 top 10 defenses throughout his career. I believe this year is the 3rd. He's not had a great running game. He's had to deal with Ty Montgomery, who's a wide receiver at running back, and Eddie Lacy, who ate his way out of the NFL. But guys, when it comes to history, when we look back, no one's going to remember those details. Aaron Rodgers, either way you want to slice it, you have to win multiple Super Bowls, Aaron Rodgers, to be in that class, to be in the GOAT class. I believe Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees are in the GOAT conversation, meaning you can make the argument they're in the top 5, but I can never make the argument for Aaron Rodgers being the GOAT, the greatest of all time, because he has 1 Super Bowl ring. Guess what? Nick Foles has 1 Super Bowl ring. Joe Flacco has 1 Super Bowl ring. I believe if you are an all-timer, a true legend, you will find a way to get to multiple Super Bowls and win 2 rings. That's how I feel about Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana. Guys, I think Aaron Rodgers is better than from just a talent perspective. Okay? They have the multiple rings. Aaron Rodgers, he's got to win multiple rings. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers is he's not going to have a whole lot of things to hang his hat on if he only ends his career with 1 Super Bowl ring. The reason why is because he's probably going to get to 60,000 career passing yards if he plays long enough. He barely will get to 500 touchdown passes. But Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years behind Brett Favre. He got hurt 2 seasons where he had to miss multiple games due to 2 collarbone surgeries. Those 2 things combined has affected Aaron Rodgers' ability to stack up all-time record-setting numbers. Aaron Rodgers is not going to finish the all-time leader in passing yards and touchdown passes and all those things. Those guys are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and even Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers' numbers will be very, very good. They'll be near the top 7, top 6 all time, but they won't be historic. So if Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the historic numbers, doesn't have the rings, what does he have to hang his hat on? Oh, he was really talented. Oh, he could throw the football really well. That's all good and cute, but guess what? They said the same thing about Dan Marino. And Dan Marino will always rank lower than Aaron Rodgers to me just because he only has the 1 Super Bowl ring. But Dan Marino's not always thought of in that Brady, Elway, and Peyton Manning and Joe Montana class because he doesn't have the hardware. He didn't win enough. And when we look at Aaron Rodgers, you know, I believe that in a couple, if Aaron Rodgers finishes his career with 1 Super Bowl, 40 years from now, we're going to look at guys like Patrick Mahomes and say, man, Patrick Mahomes might be the most talented quarterback of all time. You will have to have lived through Aaron Rodgers' prime and actually watched him play to really appreciate him and see that, hey, this guy deserves to be in the class of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and all those guys because you actually watch the games. But guys, we are in an era where social media, recency bias is all people care about. People lose sight of history. And I believe Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and these guys coming into the league like Lamar Jackson, like Deshaun Watson, that are super ultra talented, are threatening his legacy because we're going to look at them and say, oh, this guy might be the best we've seen of all time. We've seen college quarterbacks that are committing to colleges that are ultra talented coming out of college. You know, Trevor Lawrence even. He's a physical specimen. So over time, if Aaron Rodgers does not win a second Super Bowl, we're just going to look at a guy that says, oh, he was great for a while. You know, he won one Super Bowl. He was talented, we think, but he's not in Tom Brady's class. He's not in Peyton Manning's class. And Aaron Rodgers deserves to be in that class. And listen, it comes to a point where how many breaks is this Packers team this year going to get? Are they going to cash in? Because, guys, you don't get the kind of breaks the Packers have gotten throughout this season very often. This year, they were 6-0 versus their division. Even Tom Brady and the Patriots, throughout, Tom Brady's, tenure in New England, they somehow find a way to lose to Ryan Tannehill every now and then, when he was on the Dolphins, okay? It's rare that you go 6-0 in division play. You might go 5-1 or 4-2, but 6-0, that's crazy. They were 8-1 in one-score games. You usually don't win these amount of close games in a season. You don't get the breaks that go your way all the time like the Packers have had throughout the season. The Packers are healthy. A couple of years ago when they went to the NFC Championship game versus Matt Ryan and the Falcons, they were decimated. They were half a team. Their whole team was on IR dang near, okay? So the Packers, this is one of the more healthier teams that Aaron Rodgers has ever had heading into the first ever playoff game that they're going to play in the divisional round, okay? The Packers are healthy. They're much more healthier than Seattle, who has a banged-up offensive line, who has a banged-up defense, and Russell Wilson has to carry that team. The Packers are better than the Seahawks. They should beat the Seahawks, okay? They got a break versus the Kansas City Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes did not play. Twice they squeaked by the Detroit Lions, who did not have a great season. They avoided the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints lost to the Minnesota Vikings, in the wild card round. I personally was going to pick the Packers to beat the Saints just because I felt that the Saints defense was a little bit overrated. I felt that Green Bay playing at home versus a dome team in New Orleans was going to help them. I just believe that Aaron Rodgers at his best is better than Drew Brees. But we don't know if Green Bay was going to beat New Orleans. Now New Orleans, arguably the best team in football, is gone out the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, what are you going to do with it? And this is only the third time in history when Aaron Rodgers has been on the Packers that they've had a first-round bye. The first time they had a first-round bye, they got destroyed by Eli Manning in the divisional round. Not ideal. The second time they had a first-round bye, they blew the game in Seattle and blew an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, mainly due to Brandon Bostic's shortcomings on the special teams onside kick. Aaron Rodgers is 36 years old. The last 4 seasons, Aaron Rodgers' numbers have slightly dipped each year. Now, I don't think that's totally a bad thing, just because Aaron Rodgers was so much better than everyone else throughout his entire prime that he was the best and the second best was way down there. So that's not a totally bad thing that Aaron Rodgers has kind of come down to being sort of normal at times. He's in the top 5, no longer the best quarterback in football. To me, that guy's Russell Wilson. But if this trend continues, that's not a good thing because Aaron Rodgers, eventually, if he keeps declining each year, he's not going to be able to carry the Packers over the top versus teams like New Orleans, versus teams like San Francisco, versus teams like Seattle with Russell Wilson, versus the Rams if they reboot their team. The NFC is loaded. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know how long he's going to play at this elite level. With his injury history, he might only have 2 really good seasons left. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to play till he's about 40 years old, 41 years old, maybe 42, because I think he likes football. I think that he wants to win big, and I think that he wants to continue to add to his legacy. But again, we don't know how much longer Aaron Rodgers is going to be great. And I don't care how great your defense is. I don't care how great your running game is. I don't care how good of a head coach you are. If you don't have the Aaron Rodgers of old that can carry you over the top of the playoffs, if Aaron Rodgers becomes a corpse, the Packers will not win. That's just the reality. So Aaron Rodgers, it would be ideal if he capitalizes this season on an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. It really would. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, it's not the end of the world just because the Packers have a first-year head coach, Matt LaFleur, that I like a lot. It's very rare that a team wins a Super Bowl with a first-year head coach. But again, Aaron Rodgers, I expect the best from him. I think Aaron Rodgers, when he's at his best, is the best all time. So head coach be darned, it doesn't matter in my opinion. Peyton Manning dragged 4 head coaches to Super Bowl. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, get it done. Your legacy's on the line. If Aaron Rodgers only finished his career with 1 Super Bowl, regardless if you feel the Packers failed him or not, that will be a career disappointment, and people are going to start saying Aaron Rodgers might be overrated. That's the harsh reality. In my opinion, I do believe the Packers will cash in this year. I believe they will win a Super Bowl this year. And even if they don't win a Super Bowl this year, I believe Aaron Rodgers will find a way to get at least 1 more Super Bowl before his career is over. You know, the Packers have drafted well on defense. They have a good defense in place to where they can be good for the next 3 or 4 years. But again, that's just up in the air, and me being optimistic and me rationally thinking, because we don't know. We saw Peyton Manning be a Pro Bowl level player the second to last season he played. The season after that, he was terrible. I'm just saying. So either way, that's how I feel about Aaron Rodgers and his legacy. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and disagree with me. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? You know, or potentially if it doesn't, you know, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, you know, get other people hip to this channel, you know, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God bless day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.